Hi, this is Gina Marie McKee. Channel's called Little Bit McKee. I'll be focusing on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies down the road a bit, but right now I'm going to be giving you little bits of information on how to become financially empowered, abundant, feeling like you're in charge of your finances. I'm really excited about this video. This was, like I said when in my introductory videos, I knew nothing about finances. But once I felt empowered, and I got empowered between my marriages when I really had to take charge of my own finances, like I said, put my big girl panties on and figure it out. And I have been willing to do creative strategies throughout the rest of my life. And this one is one of my prizes, and I want to share it with you. It's not as good as it was. I did this between 2000 and 2010. And what I want to tell you right now, and then I'm going to give a pause, is something about that period. So during that period of my life, I had a large amount of credit card debt. You ready? My highest amount of credit card debt was $149,000. $149,000. I want you to think of $149,000 of credit card debt. Is your heart beating fast? Are you biting your nails? Well, actually, I was doing cartwheels. The gymnast came out, and I'm not talking about the financial gymnastics that I did necessarily, and I have been doing all my life, financial gymnastics. I was doing cartwheels because this is one happy Gina. $149,000 of credit card debt, and she's happy. Okay, here's the story. So I'm gonna back it up to when I was newly single. Like I had said, my ex-husband did all our finances. I don't even know if we had credit cards, and if we did, they would have been in his name. I never used a credit card during my first marriage. I wrote out a check for the grocery store. I didn't have any credit on my own. Any credit I had was related to our house, so it was a joint credit thing. My ex-husband was excellent with finances, so I'm sure our score at that time was great, but I didn't even know to look at scores. But here I am, single, and things you do in life require a credit card. And I could not get a credit card for $50, a limit. And I talked to some people, and they said, try some organizations you're with. Like if there's any credit unions that give it, you might have to do a debit card first, the whole bit. And I contacted Case Western Reserve University, where I had gone to school, and then I also taught, and they were associated somehow with a credit card. So I got like maybe like a $300 credit limit, and I used it, and I paid my bills, and I used it, and I paid my bills, and I established some credit and established very good credit. I was determined to take charge of my finances. And this financial strategy I'm going to talk about is a lot of creativity, and it's really cool. And you can still do it today, but it won't be as profitable. So at the time, my husband and I got married in the year 2000, and we bought a house in 2001 on a large piece of property. It was actually kind of expensive for us in looking back probably at that time. But the interest rates were horrible. The interest rates were like 8.5%, that kind of neighborhood. And it killed me to look at what I was paying each month in principal and interest. And obviously the taxes and insurance, but the interest, like I'm paying them this much, I'm paying the bank this much money each month to borrow from them, for the joy of borrowing from them. And I thought, oh my God, there's gotta be a better way. Well, once I established the good credit, in the mail, like I don't know if that still happens, I don't get that now anymore, but every day there were mailers on really low interest rate credit cards. And back in, let's see, so this is 2000. So this is my first page from a company called MBNA. I was able to get a 2.9% credit card. Discover a 2.9. I guess that was the going rate. Citibank 2.9. Something called Check Gallery 1.9. So I would open up the credit card and do a balance transfer from my mortgage. Now, the whole secret with this is if you're paying some of your mortgage down, you can't bring it back to your mortgage if the 0% credit card dries up, or when it dries up, because you only have the 0% for a little bit, and there was no way in heck I was going to be paying 18, 19, 20% on my credit card. So we opened up a home equity line of credit, and I'll do another video on the difference between a home equity line and a home equity loan and what you have to do to qualify for home equity lines. But just know that I had a home equity line to cover my whole debt in credit cards. And I would make a tracking sheet of when it was going to come due. And if I didn't have another 0% ready to do the balance transfer fee, I would take it back to my home equity line and we would transfer from the home equity line to the new percent. And then not too long after I established this, and I'm still doing 2.9s, 1.7s. Okay, my first 0% credit card was March 1st of 2002. And I was able to do a balance transfer of $4,950 at that time. And I have done this. I mean, this is, I don't know how many pages, but this is from 2000 to 2010. See, with what happened in our country with the whole financial system, banking system, credit card system, the whole crash, made the 0% go away for a while. And by that time, that was like done. I just had them on my home equity line, and that was a lower percent by then because the percentage rate started to drop after the crisis. So I just left them on my home equity line, and I gradually paid them down. And actually, this last page was I had two home equity lines. I had one on our primary residence, and I had one on one of the rental houses. I had a line for $78,000 on our primary residence and $60,000 on one of our rentals. So that gave me a good chunk of change there. And then by that time, when interest rates had dropped on the houses, we just totally refinanced our house at a lower interest rate and brought the money that we had on the home equity lines back to our one mortgage. And then I had a better time paying interest rates at a lower interest rates. They weren't 8 and 9% anymore. So it didn't, it wasn't a knife through the heart every month paying that interest rate. But I did have up to $149,000 on 0% credit cards. And now you can see why I was happy about it. Totally a different experience when you have $149,000 on 0% credit cards versus like if someone had on credit cards now and was paying 18, 19%. That would be totally crazy. I would never consider that. That's not even an option for me to have money on a credit card that I'm paying that kind of interest on. The home equity line is the key. I would never suggest this without a home equity line to bring it back to. Some of my family and friends do this now, and there are 0% credit cards out there, but it's different because now there is a balance transfer fee. So an average balance transfer fee is about 3%. So if it's 3% a year if you get 0% for a year, and it's a 3% balance transfer fee for whatever you take over 7,000, you take over 12,000. It's really not a 0%. It's a 3%. And right now, loans are actually pretty low. Now, not a personal loan. I think personal loans are probably around 8%. But if you were going to wrap it all into a mortgage, so you would never do this for a mortgage right now, but you could do it for credit card debt you have, balance transfer to a 0%. And the best out there is really shop around on the internet, because you might get a balance transfer fee of 3%, but it's 18 months. So then it's really at 2% a year. If you're getting 3% for a year and a half, it's 2% a year. If you can get the 3% for a 2-year, it's 1.5%. So to transfer from your higher percent credit cards to a 0% is really a smart thing to do. So please, if you like this strategy and want to hear other smart money moves, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up, and comments about different things you'd like. And I'd like to hear any kind of creative strategies you have had, because if you don't have a channel and you're just watching, I can try and research it, or maybe contact you. Maybe you can be a guest on the show, because I do want to show that when there's a will, there is a way, and we will figure out how to make good financial decisions together. So I hope this was a little bit helpful. It certainly was fun.